Oh, there he is.
I got a notification.
There's the thing.
A thing that did this thing and that stuff.
Got it.
Yeah, we is
It
live.
is there.
And in color.
Yes. In living color.
Yeah.
I got a notification. Whoa, okay. Volumes.
I think
Okay.
it's hilarious
Hey.
that YouTube always does that to me and like will give us the feedback for 2 seconds till I catch it.
Yep. Well, we got two personas in the room right now, but we can start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to week, I believe, 7 of the Path of the Darksaber series. My name is Spencer. I'm one of your hosts for the evening. Producing tonight is Dave. Dave, how are you, sir?
Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic. And we got El Jefe. How are you, sir?
Just dandy.
Fantastic. And Mark. Mark, how are you doing this week, sir?
Good. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, or as we like to call it, as Star Wars News Thursday, which seems to be the going trend. It's usually in the past years it's been Wednesday, but it's been Thursday this year, so not gonna complain. But we got a crap ton of news to talk about today. Like a lot happened today, starting at 11 a.m. Eastern today up until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We just were getting slammed and slammed and slammed with different stuff. Dave, what are you looking? Look at me.
I'm looking at what stuff happened today. There was stuff.
Well, first and foremost, before we get into the news, I want to plug these handy dandy Bunta Eve t-shirts. The Bunta Eve store closes tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. Last time to buy the merchandise before the Bunta Eve Cantina. So if you like your items before celebration, order it now. Go to http://buntaevecantina.square.site. That's SITE. And I took off certain features because if you order a poster, you're going to have to pick that up at the actual event. But the posters came in yesterday, and they are pretty gorgeous. And I tested out with some paint pens and different pens today, just to see what it will look like. And I'm very happy with that. So you'll be able to pick up your posters at the event, but everything else, don't forget to add shipping as a separate line item. So make sure you take a look at that. Also, don't forget about our not so virtual cantina on Tuesday night at the Hilton in Anaheim. But let's talk about today's news. First and foremost, at 11 a.m. this morning, we got an announcement from the birthday boy himself, Mr. Ewan McGregor, announcing that not only has Kenobi been delayed 2 days, but there's going to be 2 episodes on Friday, Celebration Friday.
Do it.
Now, as a person who has worked the behind the scenes of a celebration, Mark, what's your thought process if they're going to push 2 Kenobis to Friday of maybe a potential likelihood of a panel on Thursday?
Well, I think there's going to be a panel regardless. It's a stream of content that's coming up. They've never shied away from doing panels on things that are currently running. I do think it's feasible they'll show the first episode to a very select group of people, but maybe on Friday, like Friday early in the day. Like that wouldn't be super surprising. They actually just did it. We were talking about it last week with Rebels, where they showed you well in advance season 4, episode 1. But like with Kenobi, they want to keep it close to the chest, and they probably don't want a lot of spoilers getting out. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was a panel on the Friday morning, and maybe a select group of people get to see the first episode or a portion of the first episode.
Well, by then the show would have dropped at midnight.
Oh, it's Thursday. All right, then maybe Thursday. Yes. Then Thursday. Potentially on Thursday, like some type of early review. Sure. What I think is disruptive, though, is having the premiere happen during Celebration, because this is your target audience, and I actually think D+ ratings will be lower than expected because everyone's traveling and watching on people's phones. Like, that's weird to me. Like, do it the week before, or just wait until the show is over. Like, it's a weird, like, it's almost removing the bump that you would otherwise get because there are 7,000 other news streams happening in the course of that room for those 5 days.
Right.
Right.
And you are going
But
to
that was
just your entire audience zombies to like stay up till midnight and watch 2 full episodes before, and then stumble into the con on Friday morning.
I guess they're on West Coast time. Oh yeah, because it's not
Yeah,
feasible
the West
on
Coast
East Coast.
time. They decided to do the 501st bash on Thursday. You're gonna get a lot of hungover people watching that show at midnight. So that'll be kind of interesting in itself. But we also got quite a number of rollouts today. Today, as far as announcements, Mark, why don't you take us through some of the key points of today's announcements?
So I made the list. You guys let me know if I missed anyone. I'm going to start with who they designated celebrity guests. So that's Jonas Suotamo, who of course is Chewbacca in Solo and in the new trilogy. Omid Abtahi, who plays Dr. Pershing, the evil cloning scientist in Mandalorian. Love him. Giancarlo Esposito, who we're going to see in tonight's episode of The Mandalorian, one of the holders of the Darksaber. Carrie Jones, who plays the Wookiee in Book of Boba Fett. He's the first Book of Boba Fett truly guest on this list. Daniel Logan, who we all know as young Boba Fett from episode 2, and of course he's credited in Book of Boba Fett. Margot Apostolos from Return of the Jedi. We also have Kevin Thompson from Return of the Jedi and Tim Rose from Return of the Jedi. So 3 Return of the Jedi creature actors. And then from the prequels, because again, it is the 20th anniversary of episode 2, Jet Lucas and Orly Chozan. So Jet Lucas plays a young Jedi, Zet Jocasta, and Orly Chozan plays Shakti. So this is a nice mix of people, I think. Should I mention the authors also?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Did we have a show about the first?
Excited about that.
Yeah, because I think a lot of them are High Republic writers.
A High Republic show.
So there's that whole group that's that like core group of High Republic writers.
Yeah, I saw 5 names that they announced: Claudia Gray, Justina Ireland, Daniel Jose Older, Karen Scott, and Charles Schul, who I know Charles is largely involved in the Darth Vader comic, which everyone raves about. I know he's done some High Republic work also. And this looks like the High Republic, like mafia, right?
Oh yeah, it's going to be huge. There will be 47,000 comic books in people's backpacks.
Yeah, so that's very cool. So that's a big list because last week we got 3 names, right? They were all main cast members. This week we got 10 names, and I would say all of them are supporting characters for the most part, but they're from across the saga, which is, I think, the correct way of booking an autograph show. You want to have a mix of principal cast members, a mix of secondary, and a mix across the whole saga.
Definitely.
Some good stuff. And if any of our members happens to have the first anniversary virtual Cantina t-shirt, please make sure that you wear that when you go see Charles Schulz, because that was his comment when he announced High Republic, which was, and Yoda, whatever. So if you have that shirt, I'm sure he'll get a kick out of that one. But yeah, so some great things to get ready for Celebration. Also, like we mentioned before, getting ready for the Bunta Eve Cantina. We announced that Dominic Pace is going to have his Geeky Tikis there. And if you bring your Geeky Tiki or buy one at Bunta Eve, there's going to be a drink called the Mandalorian Mai Tai, which you'll be able to get a discount on at Bunta Eve, which is actually pretty cool. And we're getting her up for Alderaan Idol. But hey, Bryce, hey guys, how are you? Great to see you all over there. So Dave, what's going on over at the VCN?
Oh, all sorts of things. There's going to be, I can't spoil some of the things that are going on at the VCN. Unboxings are coming fast and furious. We've always got our regular shows. A new month is coming up. So April is coming. So very soon we will have the next episode of Celebrating Autographs with Frank Rich. And we're getting so close. Frank is going to be hitting these things that we're talking about tonight, autograph room stuff. it's going to be just a great show that he's going to have there. So, you know, when we announce that officially on the page, please ask your questions and get those in so Frank can tell us everything that we want to know about getting those autographs.
And also, we're in pre-production right now for we'll ask that question in a second, John. A new show starting mid next month called Virtual Cantina, the Funko Show, which would be pretty cool. We're getting ready for to film episode 1 of that. We're very excited about. And there's a rumor. Ooh, I like that, Bo-Katan. There's a rumor that there might
not
be
as cool
a
as
new...
this one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that one.
Weird.
That's a handsome fella. I think we're gonna call him Mini Me. There's rumors of another show that we're going to potentially announce for the VCN, maybe as soon as next week. So, that could be quite interesting. Very excited about that. A Black Series show, that'd be interesting.
Oh, that'd be
so we had a
interesting.
question actually from John Notman for you, Mark. What, you know, I know you alluded a little bit about this, but what's your thoughts on the quality of the autograph hall so far?
I think it's looking really good so far. I think everyone should reserve judgment on the autograph hall until the final announcements are made. If you remember when I ran it, the last person I announced was Hayden Christensen. So like our headliner was the final person. But right out of the gate, they have some principal cast members. They have supporting characters that we know and love, some old-timey returning people from the prequels and the classic, and some brand new people. I think you have to put Mandalorian people and all types and Book of Boba Fett. Like, you've got to bring in new. And so far, they've checked all those boxes. Also, I'm excited to see what is happening with the authors. Are they just going to be panel guests, or are they going to do signings and stuff? Like, I'm wondering if they're considered part of, like, I don't know if people would get photo ops necessarily with them, but autographs maybe. That wasn't clear from the announcement. So and I don't know if they're necessarily being run by official picks the same way that the celebrity guests are. There seem to be celebrity guests and then like creator guests, which they usually have. But either way, I like where they're going with this list so far. I have no complaints, and I'm excited to see we've got 7 weeks left. I want to see the reveals over the next 7 weeks. And by the way, I think that's when people should then make their final judgments, like once they arrive on the floor and who's there.
Oh yeah.
The one person I'm actually excited about for you guys, and I hope that he actually does signings, is actually Doug Chang. I hope that Doug actually goes on the floor. To me, I mean, I've met Khan, which but it's fine. But Doug Chang is someone that I think that everybody would want to meet, and has, whether they have the art books or anything of that nature, has something that they would want Doug to sign. So
I want to say
cool.
There's a very
they did
limited set
signings
of
at the Del Rey booth. Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, I think we have a very limited set of Doug Chang autographs and Topps cards from one set where they allowed us to do some creator stuff. I'd have to double check it, but he was on our list for a while because Lucasfilm always prevented us from doing behind the scenes. It was always like on-screen people, which is why we didn't have a lot of the creators, but I think he made it into something. Also, David W. Collins is very cool and actually does a lot of like voices across the video games, and he's in Clone Wars and Rebels. I know he's going to be there too, but he's not on like the celebrity list. So I don't know if he's going to be there again. Like if you can find him, I get him to sign. He can sign almost any of the posters for, I think, any of the animated series. And I think he even does other work on like some of the live action stuff.
Yeah, the last time I volunteered at one of the one of the last times I volunteered, I worked his booth at Celebration. I think that was 2015.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a really nice guy.
2017. Anyways, yeah.
So we are going to be starting tonight the live action portion of our Path of the Darksaber series, which we're going to be starting with Season 1, Chapter 8 of The Mandalorian.
And
As we
while we're
mentioned,
getting all queued up for that on the Disney Plus, we would be remiss, since it has been pointed out we're displaying IG-11 so prominently. We would be remiss to point out that there's all kinds of stuff going on over on Instagram. That's kind of been the mascot of it, the IG-11 of our
IG.
graphic
yes,
Instagram.
our Instagram is booming lately, so take a look at that. But let's catch up to speed. Mark, tell us where we are in the path of the Darksaber currently.
Yep. So we've now jumped time periods pretty considerably. When we were in Rebels, we were before the classic trilogy. So we referred to the time period as BBY, before the Battle of Yavin. And Rebels takes place about 5 years before Battle of Yavin. We're now jumping forward after the original trilogy. We've gone through the events of A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. We are 9 ABY, which is 9 years after the Battle of Yavin. It's 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So I hope everyone can do that ridiculous math. It's like, get out your calculators. But we have changed time periods. It's like going from BC to AD, basically. So we are now in the present time of The Mandalorian, 5 years after Return of the Jedi. During that time period, the last we saw it, Bo-Katan had the Darksaber. We then find out, and we find out in this episode, Giancarlo Esposito's character Moff Gideon tells us that the Night of 1,000 Tears is where that Darksaber was lost. Mandalore falls, the Empire cleans their clock basically, and he ends up with the Darksaber. That's the big reveal at the end of the episode, is that he's the one who has it. So that explains how Bo-Katan lost it and why the Mandalorians are all in this like bad space, living in sewers and stuff, right? And when we see Gideon, it's not clear how specifically he took it from her, and I still think there's a lot of debate as to like how that all went down, because I don't think his fighting skills are all that. But he is the one that we see holding it. So the clearest path I can see from here is that Bo-Katan had it last. They lost against the Empire, and Moff Gideon picked it up. And this episode is going to show us that in the final scene. So we could actually watch the last 5 minutes of this and get like the gist of the Darksaber. But this is an excellent episode. There's a lot to cover in this episode. It's one of my favorites in all of Mandalorian.
And we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but the fact that we got live action Darksaber on after this episode in itself was like oh my god, like this is pretty awesome. Very excited about it. Like I said, there you go with the Darksaber. I mean, I think it was one of those things from the animated series, just like I mean, I know we got Thrawn from EU, and we got everyone went nuts when we got Thrawn back into canon. But the Darksaber was one of those weapons that had its lore that was so unique and different than any other form of weaponry, really. But to actually have it, just like, whoa, this is cool. Like, I don't think another saber has made that kind of had that kind of reaction since you first saw like Kylo's crossblade. When you saw that for the first time, people were like, "Oh, that's kind of cool. That's different. It's got its own kind of, thing behind it." And obviously, I don't know, just a lot of good stuff. I mean, Jeff, what's your feeling about the lore and the appeal of the Darksaber?
It just, the way it was introduced, I think, has a lot to do with it in the animation. So you saw it in a different way than you had other sabers, and it's such a different look. And now we know a lot of the history behind, where it came from. It's just has a richer kind of story than many of the other sabers. So you have Luke having his saber with his hand stuck on it somewhere down a ventilation shaft. But that's pretty much it in terms of the stories behind a saber. Besides, this was your father's, and he wanted you to have it, kind of thing. So I think that the amount of thought they put into kind of giving it its own kind of history was really made it that much cooler.
I thought it was the greatest thing about this was, well, how much of like a historian it turned people like us into, because there are a lot of people that haven't watched a lot of the Darksaber content or had not ever seen any of that when Gideon slices open, and
Oh,
you
yeah.
just instantly, every single one of your friends, you're explaining like everything we've watched up until now. So
Right.
you're sitting down.
So it's
and
like
you
that. It's like that meme with the guy in front of the chalkboard going,
Yes.
Yeah.
You become that guy right as
Charlie
soon as
Day.
this happened. You're like, well, okay, we've got to go back. And they were like thousands of years ago. There were the
yes. So I'm very excited about that. But we're about 10:01 on the Eastern Seaboard right now. So we're gonna. Is everybody queued up for season 1 at
Nope.
chapter 8?
Just happened to have it as the last episode of The Mandalorian that I watched or looked at because I think I captured a frame from it for something I was making. Probably
Cool.
the graphic for this very series.
probably the
of
graphics for
episodes.
this very episode.
Probably, but yes, of course, Bryce has to point out that Dave has to be different and wear a Black Panther T-shirt. But that's
Hey,
okay.
there's other news happening today, like big geek related news. Did you watch the other thing that came out today?
Ooh, okay, yeah, I gotta say, if you haven't watched Moon Knight, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I think it's honestly good. It's after the first episode, it's jumping up to be probably going to be my favorite series that Marvel's come out with. I was that excited about this episode. So
It's weird seeing
Uh,
Oscar do that British accent, though, I have to tell you. But
but it was awesome. It was just
like
so.
the
It was
ending.
just awesome.
the final
Yeah,
scene.
I need another 5 minutes after that final scene. I'm like, no, you're not done. You're not done. I need 5 more
Okay.
minutes. That's all I need. But yeah, so why don't we we'll talk about that on Tuesday at happy hour. But let's start with the 10-second countdown, shall
Do it.
we? We'll
Yes.
start
Good
with
to go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Oh, now you're hawking the track.
There's a recap at the start, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
we'll watch it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
That's important because we're watching
I
a season
will have to
finale
say, I thought-
episode.
Yeah, this is the 8th episode is season 1 finale.
Speaking of celebration, all that I thought it was very interesting that the final T-shirt and pin to the Road to Celebration merchandise that they announced yesterday, the center picture is Cara Dune.
Eh, eh. Spoilers.
Who
I
knows?
was confused as to who that character was at first because I was like, I just couldn't. I was like, because in my mind I was like, oh, she's not even in the conversation, so
Right.
I wasn't even sure that was her.
Right.
But
By the way, I still don't think
getting
she's coming
some
back.
cons.
Mhm.
Okay, so this whole speech that Gideon says, you have something I want. This means more to me than you'll ever know. The replay of that in season 2 with Din Djarin saying it was just like
That was
a big F you to Gideon, which is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
it had much
And-
more
and
weight
how
to it
the-
too at that point.
The TIE fighter wings folding as it lands.
That's-
That, we
very
finally got
cool.
to see. We got to finally see a TIE fighter land, as opposed to
Supposed
when
to
we were
crash.
thinking of the Kenner finger
Finger?
toy that
Yeah.
Kenner finger that's just basically standing up, and you're like, how does it get in there? Like,
Well, we also saw them get into one in
oh, so we're coming up to
that movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is gold.
so we're coming up to Mark Truax's favorite scene in the entire series.
Oh, the funny stormtroopers. So that's Jason Sudeikis pre Ted Lasso.
Yep, and
Adam
Adam
Pally.
Pally.
Adam Pally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Adam
great.
Pascal? No, Adam Pally. Yeah.
Pally.
No,
Very
Adam
funny.
Pally. I would love Adam Pascal to be in there. I know he was in Hawkeye.
Yeah, their little bantering is very fun. But also, like, I remember there was a thing on Twitter where everyone just like came for Jason Sudeikis. It's like, how dare you punch Baby Yoda?
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about? Like, because you recorded some lines for the stormtrooper. You know, he didn't know what was happening. And it was like, oh boy. So he was on America's Most Hated list for a hot second in a fun way, in like the
Right.
fun Star Wars Twitter way.
Getting dragged for
Adam
cussing out.
Pally was asked that as well, and he's like, "Yeah, I punched a little shit."
Awesome. So in the prior episode, Kawil was killed. That was the character played by Nick Nolte and Misty Roses. That was heartbreaking. And the client, played by Werner Herzog, is seemingly killed as well in that explosion as Giancarlo arrives.
Right.
So the body count is outrageous already. Those are two main cast characters, and there more people die in this episode. It's a satisfying conclusion to the first season for sure.
Absolutely, and you know, one thing we haven't talked about in a while was the fact that it was nice to see an Ugnaught being so prevalent after just seeing it being subservient in Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Oh, oh my God, this is terrible.
This is a classic.
How did they survive?
Blame it on the weapon.
It's the bopping.
It's funny that they made that toy where you can actually beat on the child. You're encouraged to.
And the child in this episode is played by Chris Rock.
Ooh.
Too soon?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I'm having way too much fun with those memes lately.
They are kind of everywhere.
Yeah.
Spencer's Facebook for sure.
Yeah, you're saying, Mark?
Yeah, I was gonna say I saw them mostly there. But in other Academy Award news, we should shout out Troy Kotsur.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Congratulations, Troy.
Amazing.
He won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for Coda. He's a deaf actor and appeared in The Mandalorian season 1. I have the episode number. What was it? Chapter 5. The Gunslinger. That's the one that has Ming-Na Wen, Amy Sedaris, and Jake Cannavale. And he not only played the Tusken Raider on screen, he developed the sign language that was used. So yeah, very cool stuff. Weirdly enough, like he needed photos of his character back in 2019 or whatever, and we got him some pictures. So he's like literally in my DMs in Twitter.
Nice.
Which I don't know if his DMs are open now. I can't imagine, like, once you've hit this level of fame, how many people are just trying to message you. But we still had open DMs, so I was able to send him a congratulatory note, which I think he won the BAFTA, and I sent him a note. And then they just kept coming, and I was like, okay, we'll just wait until the big one. But he has swept this award season. It's been incredible to watch.
Well deserved.
Yeah, well deserved. And I know Frank was very excited, especially since he gave a shout out to Gloucester, Massachusetts, which is Frank's hometown. So
nice.
I love that scene with IG just then taking out those. Taking out the two troopers.
Yeah, so he was reprogrammed. So I was watching some of my recaps earlier, and Queel, the Ugnaught, reprogrammed him to be a nursery droid, or a nurse droid or whatever. But he'll defend. So he's good until you threaten Baby Yoda, and then he'll kill you, basically. And he definitely killed those two people.
He made short work of those two speeder bike troopers.
Yeah.
We missed the what turned this bar into Swiss cheese.
Oh yeah, and the fire or is that coming? No.
Oh, we got some more coming.
That's coming up. But give a shout out to the 501st, who basically played almost every stormtrooper in this particular scene.
We're ready with costume to come in at the drop of a hat.
And they look perfect. You would never know that these are amateurs.
The fact that their club is
your first,
green accurate.
Yeah. Well, Krista, welcome to your first virtual Cantina.
Hello there.
But yes, it's nice when you can call somebody and say, hey, we need screen accurate costumes. We don't want to make any more. So hey, you want to stop by for like a day?
Bring your friends.
Come out to Navarro, have some laughs.
We could have done with that one.
Oh, there
Yep.
you go.
So we missed the exposition that Giancarlo gives in the prior episode. He
Right.
knows Mando's name because if you remember, in the
Yep.
whole season, we've just been calling him Mando. He refers to him as Din Djarin, and he knows that name. A little bit horrifying because he also knows Cara Dune and that she's a shock trooper and joined the Rebel Alliance because she's a former, or she's not former, she's from Alderaan.
Right.
So
Yep.
that must have been an easy decision to join the rebellion after your home planet is blown up. So he's got all the info. Oh wait, he's doing it now.
Yeah, this is
Yeah, he's doing it right now.
Yeah, I thought he did it when he arrived at the end of the last episode.
I think
There we go, Din
he just
Djarin.
came in at the very end, I think, in the ship at the end of the last episode. There's the Night of 1,000 Tears.
Yeah,
Grief Karga. And he is such an amazing guy too. I mean, Dave's met him too, but meeting Mark, you met Giancarlo at Rhode Island, right?
Yeah,
Did you go to this line as well?
figure right there.
so Giancarlo I've met
He-
before. I didn't meet him at Rhode Island this year, but he's tremendous, and his agent is super nice too. He's easy to work with. We had him sign autographs for us back in 2019 when the first season actually came out.
Nice.
Yeah. Absolutely fabulous human being to meet.
Yeah, I second that. Actually, everyone I've met from the Mandalorian series has been tremendous so far.
He's at a con here the week before Celebration. It's a week before Celebration. It's in May.
Right.
I think it's the week before Celebration. Here
So
in,
I went down the
LA.
rabbit hole a little bit while we were talking. And the Celebration shirt that came out today, the Road to Celebration shirt, that is Finnick in the middle.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's Cara Dune was on the 2020 one, the canceled one. She's
Okay.
on that shirt.
Okay.
The one that came out
It's an
today
updated version.
is Bo-Katan and then Finnick in the middle and Moff Gideon on the side.
That makes more sense. That braided
Okay.
hair, I was trying to
Yeah.
find the match to, and I didn't even think Fennec should because
Gotcha.
the hair's the wrong color. That's like a light
Right.
brown, and it should be like a jet black. So,
Well, it is, and really even the color of her skin is a little light
yeah.
on the t-shirt. But if you go down further, right above the logo, it's got the orange on the helmet and the orange stripes on the sleeves. That's my
That's
personal
hard.
giveaway for Finnick.
Yeah, Cara Dune's
Oh,
not coming
helmet's
back.
very-
I know that there's like all that conspiracy theory stuff that like that she's not coming back. We're not allowed to use her in licensed product. It's not coming back.
Okay, it's 10:56, Ashley. So yeah, so this is interesting right here because we were all thinking this is part of the purge, but it looks like it's part of A Night of 1,000 Tears. Right here, in this flashback scene. But this is the first time he's also said Mandalorian is not a race, it's a creed.
Yes.
Nice Funko there, Dave.
Hollow Creed.
See, it just picked up today for this.
Oh, nice.
Weirdest things at like the electronics section of the Walmart.
Yeah, they have them in
Yeah,
Target too.
Yeah, NECA has a whole giant section in Walmart now that's in the entertainment, like their entertainment block. It's near the DVDs and video. That whole area now has been invaded by collectibles
Mhm.
of all
And-
types.
as it should be. Now, here's one thing I had to ask. What's the thing? What's the deal with Star Wars sticking your kid in a bomb shelter and running off? This is the second property in Star Wars after Rogue One that the parents put their kids in a bomb shelter.
I think it's more than that. Wasn't Ezra in essentially a bomb shelter at some point? Don't we get
there are a
kind of
lot of
flashbacks of
orphan kids.
Rey?
Yeah. There are a lot of orphan kids because the stars are constantly at war, it seems. And I think the parents always think they need to abandon their children and then either go fight or run or something. Like it's the
Right.
same bad decision making across the board. But yeah, there's a lot of just abandoned children thrown into holes. That could be like someone should put together that YouTube compilation. I'd watch that because you're right. It's like Ezra, Ray, Jin, Jin.
The
Like it's just
orphans.
yeah.
Well,
It's a lot of them.
It's almost comical. This is a story about family. I mean,
Well-
Star Wars. That's what George always said. It's about family, and then
That's right.
it's about
and you throw your kid in a
abandoning your
hole.
child. Yeah.
And from Anakin's point of view, Tatooine's a hole. So Luke, yeah, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luke's also technically an orphan, so
Oh, here we go. So this is how we see he gets rescued by a Mandalorian, and we find out he's one of the Death Watch Mandalorians. That wasn't clear in the prior flashbacks in the season because you couldn't see his arm symbol. You'll see the Death Watch symbol, and then they start referring to themselves as Children of the Watch, which, you know, good rebranding to go from Death Watch to The Watch. I think that's a more inclusive. Maybe everyone won't think you're a villain if that's your name.
doesn't put people off as much.
Yep. There it is. You can see the
Would that be
symbol
like
on the hat with the blue.
Gargano's the way? Yes, I had to make a little wrestlingism, especially since we're about to go to WrestleMania weekend.
That's right. Sunday's WrestleMania. I don't know what's
Starting
going
tomorrow.
on. It starts. It's a
Saturday
Friday
and
night?
Sunday.
Ugh. I don't know any of the
Tomorrow's
storylines going
tomorrow's
on.
Hall of Fame, and then main event is Brock versus Roman, title versus title,
Brock.
Ronda versus Charlotte. Yeah, I watch it because it's Mania.
I want to see Sasha
Right.
versus Bianca, and just
That'd be
about nothing
nice.
else.
So Mando here says whether or not that is the Night of 1,000 Tears. He says that Moff Gideon was an Imperial officer during the Purge. He says that right there. So
Okay,
that's the kind of thing that leaves this kind of questionable. Is he talking about he was during the Purge and he knows him from there, or was this flashback to the Purge? Not sure.
Yeah, the Purge. I don't know the time period, but he is one of the intelligence officers. I was doing a little more digging on Gideon, and apparently he's from the same division of troopers as Callus was from Rebels. So it's part of their like intelligence division, and it's actually a direct comparison to like Hitler's SS. I was like, oh, oof, okay, horrifying, of course, but like that was the sort of similarity they were going for.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what the entire empire, what Lucas really based the structure on.
Oh yeah, all Nazis and yeah.
Yes, exactly. Stormtroopers directly.
Yep. Oh yeah, Night of 1,000 Tears, and it was Night of Broken Glass, I guess was the real life direct comparison.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's
Is that Milani?
like crazy and creepy when it gets like into real world stuff. Oh, here comes IG-11 saving the day, though. I love this. These effects are really well done. I know it's fast moving, and you know this robot on a flying car, basically, but they look really good. Everything done in the volume is just spectacular.
It looks a lot more better when the chase scene is faster. Both of
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Hide some of it. Booyah.
The way they've gotten him to like move around, and spin,
all his joints are just like going every direction whenever he needs them to.
Yeah, so cool.
and then you have Grief Karga taking shots of Spotka, in the middle of a gunfight.
I love that. Walk out the door and shoot him in the face.
That I remember being in the trailer and everyone assuming it was going to be late in the season because he had his Beskar, compared to like when we first meet him without his like Beskar armor, and he's got just like the padding and stuff. But yeah, that shot was used everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first big GIFs that was going around for sure. This feels like 1,000 years ago, doesn't it? I know it was 2019, but like it really it just feels like this happened so long ago.
Plus, also, I mean, everywhere on Twitter, everybody's been showing off their swag from the rap party of season 3 of Mandalorian. So it's like, okay, we know it's ended. So now they're in post. So okay, got another show in post now.
Uh-oh.
They've been breached.
Oh,
They should have jumped
Yeah,
in.
Lila, I'm just like, if they had run the Vespa chase at like, 1.5, 2 times speed, it couldn't have hurt.
Doink. That's that.
So
I like seeing the Death Troopers. Nice little nod to Rogue One.
mhm. He has quite
Ooh.
the crew, considering it's 5 years after the defeat of the Empire. Like,
Right.
oh, that was really smart the way he just blew that up.
Oh yeah.
there's
That was a
got to
very
be
sick move.
something in there behind it, the money, somewhere there needs to be more explanation of Moff Gideon,
Mm-hmm.
how this Imperial remnant is surviving.
It might have been in the Outer Rim. I think because they did have things out, around the Outer Rim that were not directly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be all chaotic out in the Outer Rim. And I mean, it's more proof, right? That there's sort of no law out there. Like the Capitol doesn't have the reach that it thinks it does.
There we go. Get the welding droid out to
Where's Bender?
yeah, exactly.
Can opener.
Oh no. I'll be taking my helmet off.
That's a lot of blood.
Yeah, handful.
I love that storyline. I mean, that story, that story, the fact that when Pedro took his helmet off and he's got all the scars and the blood, that he actually did get into an accident on set that day, and Favreau took him to the hospital. And the doctors at first were like, "What happened to you?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm an actor, but this is what really happened. This part of it's fake."
Oh, here we go.
Look at
This
that.
is what I was talking about earlier, the flame trooper.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh. All right. This is when we see Grogu really use his powers.
Mhm.
Right.
Protect that child.
So did we see earlier the Death Watch Mandalorian that rescued him? Did we get a definitive? Was that male or female?
Looked like male armor to me, but
It looked like the male armor. It didn't have, night owl eyes,
right.
but the chest plate looked suspicious when you're seeing it.
Hmm.
Big Keenan Jarrus vibes over here.
Oh yeah.
Little wrist flick to do them in, and then it's
And
time
it's
for a
not
nap.
time.
And then the gate or the grate opens.
Oh, Bryce says there's a Black Series figure from that particular one that's coming out later this year, and he does believe it was male.
I thought it was Paz initially.
Yeah. We may find that out.
It'd be interesting to see it, how it connects back, and not just be a throwaway thing.
Mhm.
Well, and hopefully eventually we will learn, was that the person who inducted him into what appears to be a really fundamental, not a cult maybe, but maybe cult or sect of Mandalorians.
Right.
Yeah.
Extremists.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing it play out right now. He won't take off his helmet to get healed. The IG-11 bot has like a back to spray. And he's like, no, I'd rather die with my helmet on. That's stupid. You're stupid. Like,
Well, there's also the other level of, could we have some technology? IG-11 has back to spray. Could we build that into the helmet?
Yeah, there you go.
Well, it goes, I think also goes back to the fact that, you know, with the cultish, like we talked about this a couple weeks ago, that we wondered if the armor sect, like Garsaxton, with the horned helmets and all in their own right.
Well, that's what I was going with asking, is if we thought that Mandalorian might be female, if that was, you know, a previous armor incarnation of the armor or something. Could we get, you know, and that's why he's so beholden to her.
It's possible. I mean, obviously, I would love for us to find out a little bit more about their relationship. And we've been asking since season 1. You know, people are saying, "Who's the armorer? Is that going to be Bo-Katan?" You know, that was the original. People were thinking that was going to be Katie. You know, even though Emma was doing the voice when the helmet came off, it was somebody else. You know, but yes, Mephisto, not the bees. Yes, sorry, little screen crush joke.
There you go.
I do love Screen Crush, and I loved the time period when we were chasing Mephisto. Nothing will compare to the WandaVision days. That 8-week period was like, I will remember it when I'm 100 years old if I live to be that long. It was just so wild and weird and kind of wonderful. And we don't have that with other shows. Like, there's no dissection like even on Mando that's gonna get that weird and interesting.
And he keeps calling back to it and showing the Wicker Man with Nicolas Cage every time that not the bees, every time there's a hexagon.
Yep. It's good times.
And he likes to crack. He has to. I was supposed to. He likes to make your mom jokes like quite often. Like you throw like your mom.
It's always in one of the Easter eggs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's your mom.
This is played by your mom.
It could be Rook Cast from Clone Wars season 7.
Oh yeah, that's the woman with the bluish hair. Is that right? Like she ends up in the Siege of Mandalore episodes. It's the only other woman we see hanging around Maul. So she would have had a spiked helmet. I don't know if that's the name, if that's the correct name, but that's who I was thinking it could be if it was going to be a character we have met already, or if it's just Emily, right? Which that would be fine too. Emily's great. I don't know if we necessarily need to connect her to a prior character, but if it turns out that that's the same character from Clone Wars, that's just a cool connection.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley said that they actually on Screen Crush they called the fish and Moon Knight Gus Mephisto.
Oh,
Little Nemo with his one fin.
Yeah, right. You know, after he took his 2-day nap.
Oh, this is sad. He learns that all of his other Mando
they're just gone.
brethren are killed.
Now, what was very interesting about what's coming up in the scene is that when we had Emily on to watch this episode with us after it premiered, she said one of the original versions of the script had the armorer dying right after the next scene, and they decided no, that she was too big of a character to.
They left that open ultimately.
Now, see, I find this kind of interesting right here. Is she sitting there saying, he's like, did any survive? And she's like, I'm hoping some of them escaped off-world. Their armor's right here. It means they're now, we see from episodes later, the Book of Boba Fett, they're now essentially dead to her. They're not Mandalorians anymore.
But is that all the armor? Like that could be the armor of the ones who died. There might have been others who made it out. That's how I read that.
Okay. I read it the other way, but your way is valid as well.
It's possible.
Well,
I think it's a low survival count, regardless of what the actual like
Yeah,
specifics are. I think we're running into like Mandalorians are an endangered species. They've already been genocided, basically, right? And now what's remaining of them is living in sewers. So if we're building toward like a big story at the end where there's like a big fight, do they eventually reclaim Mandalore and rebuild their civilization? I feel like that has to be the happy ending we're headed toward. It's just how are we going to get there?
With Grogu wielding the Darksaber at their head.
Look, I would take that bet. I think the Vegas odds would put him at the top. There are other people on the podium that I've thought of, but like Vegas will probably say
Cody.
he's the front runner.
But yeah, I mean, if you look at chapter of season 1 in the Battle of Navarro, I mean, there was a lot of Mandalorians involved in that battle.
Yeah.
Where they went up against Dominic Pace, and he probably killed them all.
I'm excited to meet him. I see him on Instagram all the time, and I have not met him in person yet, but I've heard great things. Yeah. And I saw that tiki is super cool. I remember I was showing you guys the tiki we got for the Job of the Hutt and the Bib Fortuna shot glass. Those are really nice. I don't know when Geeky Tiki really took off. It seems like the past like 3 years or so. Like they've really started expanding their offerings and upping their quality items. It seems like they're having a moment right now, the Geeky Tikis.
Yep. So yeah, definitely if you come to Bunta, you can get one of the Mandalorian season 1 first licensed piece with Gecko on it, and get a discount off of the Mandalorian Mai Tai. I meant to ask you, Mark, did you show your husband the Yippee-Ki-Yay De Wanawanga t-shirt?
Yes, I've got to get one of those. I've got to make a few purchases actually, because there was the Ewok one was the one that I want to get also. So yeah. Look, any Bib Fortuna merchandise will enter our home for sure.
Well, when Dave designed that, I'm like, oh my God, Mark's husband's gonna love that.
See, this is the moment behind Mark right there as he's getting his signet.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Mark, I showed you my my Matt Wood Bib Fortuna signed piece, did I?
I don't think you did. I know we've talked about it.
What with him signing in Huttese?
You've told me about it, yes, but I've not seen the picture.
I got the whole
him and his throne.
Him and his throne, and I had him write the whole thing in Huttese.
Oh my God, that's
it cost
incredible.
Me $20 extra, but it was worth it.
Well worth it. I also Matt Wood's just a great guy. I've got some good stories about him too. He's just he's awesome. Like a nice person. I went to a barbecue with him, like really randomly. And when he was in New York, he invited me and one of my coworkers to go meet him after, like he had come to the office and did an interview and signed autographs and all that stuff. And we hung out afterwards, and he's just very easy to talk to and loves his job. And he's got stories for days because he's worked with George since the prequels. And now he's in the like Filoni and Favreau time period stream, plus all the other stuff he's worked on for ILM outside of Star Wars. I think he's like got 5 or 6 Academy Award nominations. Like it's incredible.
Yep. And if you get him talking, he sometimes slips up on certain things about certain people in certain shows and realizes that he should probably not talked about that because he was just like having a wonderful conversation, doesn't think about it. Which I didn't mind, but I started laughing. I was like, "Oh, okay."
We've gotten a few actors where they forget like when they recorded something and when it's coming out, and how different those time periods are sometimes. So when we were talking, I think it was Katie. She was talking about coming back to do some work, and we thought she was talking about Rebels, and she actually was talking about Mandalorian because she was talking about filming. And I was like, "Do you mean recording?" And she's like, "Right, recording." And then I was like, "Oh no, she meant filming." And so it was one of those. But it wasn't like this was in a back room with like us while signing autographs. Like,
right.
That's not a problem. It'd be different if you're on a panel and say something like, "Oh yeah, I was in the volume when," that's a whole other thing. Meanwhile, Emily kicking ass over here, that was incredible.
Do we
Yeah.
remember from when Emily was on? Was this Emily, or is this a double?
So this was Emily right now, and it turns to Lauren Mary Kim,
Yeah.
and then the last motion of the armorer, like after she kicks some serious ass, they cut back to Emily, and Emily said, "And there's Lauren, and there's me." Now, what was
Yeah. Right,
No, it was
Lauren's the
great.
stunt woman. They're gonna have
Yes.
Lauren do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you've watched the panel from Rhode Island Comic Con, and Emily talked about Lauren being there as Lauren's first con, and if they had a lot of great people on that panel, but Lauren actually got the biggest pop out of everybody in that panel. Like, people were so excited to see her. Maybe because she played Ahsoka, it's very possible, but Emily was praising her the entire con.
This reveal is so weird.
Oh my god, I love this with this crazy R2, this droid.
Yeah,
It's so
astrometric
creepy.
leg. Yeah,
Which you can buy at the Droid Depot
Batu.
over at Batu.
Yep.
That's on my list.
I have one. I haven't put my R2 unit in it yet, or R unit, but I have the legs and arms ready to go to make him look like a freakish, I don't know,
No, that was really cool.
walking
too.
trash can.
When I saw that when we were when we walked around for my birthday, Jeff, I thought that was like
Mhm.
really cool.
There's a shocking amount of lava in Star Wars, and people just treat it like it's no big thing. You sneeze and fall in, you're dead. Like, this is a hazard. Like, kind of in movies, how quicksand is everywhere, and then like in real life, you'll never see quicksand. I
Right.
feel like it's the same. It's lava in Star Wars.
Well, yeah, there's like entire lava planets.
Yeah, it's
Yep.
crazy. This is ridiculous. I would not get in that rickety boat with that sketchy looking droid into the river of lava.
Right.
Yeah, I need some cooler heads to prevail here, please.
Yeah, and then there he goes. He's doing the thing, and just shoot him.
Nope, not anymore.
You're like in Venice, but it's like lava.
Yes, it is like the river Styx. It is very you're about to die or you're already dead metaphor.
Yeah.
They're on the river Styx.
See, I am telling you, this is what we need just more of. Is I love the character. We won't even get into Gina, but I love the Cara Dune character.
Mhm.
I really do.
I think it's fair to critique the character and not the actor for sure as we rewatch this. Like, the content has already been created. It's already here. The character already exists. One of my favorite scenes in all of Mando is when he's building his team and it organically becomes the 4 women that he's grown to trust over the course of these 2 seasons. And that badass group runs in as the crew. So it's her, it's Sasha Banks, it's Bo-Katan, it's Ming-Na Wen, and they come in and clean shop, making their way toward Gideon. And like, it was never planned like, hey, we need 4 ladies to take on this task. It was like, who are the best people for the job? And it just like fell in that way.
And they're that kick-ass with Boba Fett is like a side character to that.
Yes.
He's like, oh, you just go fly the ship and you be out there. We got this.
Exactly. You pilot the ship, old man. And he's older.
It became so much more organic of a team than like the woman power moment in Avengers.
In Marvel.
This did not get
highly manufactured. In the Marvel scene, which is why in The Boys, when they do we referenced it last week, Girls Get It Done, it's making fun of that Marvel moment, right? And I think people are going to constantly point to that as just like an eye roll of like, obviously a guy wrote that, and it's like, yeah, probably, it's sad, but I do like the character of Cara Dune, like Gina notwithstanding, and I remember in the beginning there was like a little bit of discourse of like, will she be a Mary Sue? And I was like, first of all, I hate that phrase and I think it's ridiculous. But like, I think they gave her a lot of great strengths while also putting in a lot of complicated flaws the way you do with any character. And they did that for all of the women in the series, and they did it for all the men in the series too. Like no one in here is a Mary Sue. I mean, the only person in Star Wars who's like the most Mary Sue actually is like kind of Luke in the original trilogy. He just kind of gets it and does it. Like it's like, oh, I've been a Jedi for 10 seconds. Let me go blow up this thing. But like truly, I think every character here, and this speaks to like the good writing on The Mandalorian, every character is layered. I think their intentions are interesting. They've got like complicated backstories that are well fleshed out, and not everything's revealed yet either. So there's still some mystery to everyone. Like we still don't know how Grief Karga got into this gig of like running the bounty hunters when he doesn't look like he could hurt anyone. Like I'm not scared of Grief Karga. What is he doing? Yeah, like how is he in charge? Right, like he used to be Apollo. He's not anymore. And maybe he was a badass, like, and that's how he got to that role. And now he's in management. He's like, I used to punch people for fun. Like, yeah. Oh, here we go. He's gonna put on his jetpack. But like, I think all the characters in Mando in general are very well executed, and I hope we continue to see that as we get into season 3 and the cast gets bigger and bigger, because it's very easy to lose that as we continue to bloat the cast, right?
Right.
And that was just thought up from like minute one, because Cara Dune, I mean, so much backstory behind the Alderaan tier.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll just leave that on there and let people speculate until boom, we have a moment that we can give you that.
Yeah. I'm glad we have another living Alderanian as well. You know, how many of them are left as we think about like I was saying earlier, like the Mandalorians are a race that's like almost extinct. Like it's the same thing with anyone from Alderaan. And I'm sure there are other planets that were decimated by the Empire. We know for a fact that in Bad Batch, oh my God, I'm blanking on the water planet from episode 2, fully destroyed. Yeah, Camino. Camino is gone. Oh, yeah. Right. So if you're a Kaminoan, there ain't none of you left. I think there's going to be more of that.
Yeah, out there. And I mean, it's a little bit like I mean, really, you get a lot of that. There's a lot of destruction and killing that happens in the High Republic now. You know, we were talking about those authors earlier. I mean, everybody dies.
Yeah, I got to catch up on my High Republic stuff. Oh, here we go. So that, I will say, that fight with him using the jetpack and taking down the TIE fighter was very impressive.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Guild rates have gone up. That's great.
It's fun
There's
to
your
see
bonus.
Struggling with learning to use the jetpack too.
Well, he
Okay.
they opt not to. How Filoni touted is that you're going to have a lot of surprises throughout Boba Fett, and every episode had a new character or some other shocking thing, and I thought it kind of spoiled the show in some aspects, because you always expected something good to happen, as opposed to, I felt Mandalorian, it came like way you didn't expect it, when it was supposed to be, as opposed to we're going to give you your pop every episode.
But see, you got to think is, you know, love the Star Wars fans in general, but that's what we complained about when season 1 of Mando, that it started feeling like, you know, an episode of Kung Fu The Legend Continues, is that just every week it was the, you know, moving the story along. I got to go to this place to do this and this place to do that. It didn't give us the big reveal, the big
right.
And you know, maybe not us specifically, but Star Wars fans in general complained.
They complain at everything. Yeah. Look, they'll complain about these celebration reveals today. Meanwhile, it's
they revealed about they complained about last week, and some people are like, if this is the only people were getting these stories, that I'm not going. And I'm like, you do realize it's week 1, right?
Yeah. Also, tickets are sold out, so you're either going or you're not. If you already have tickets, go and sell them. There are plenty of people looking. I hate to be that guy, and it sounds like I'm being really negative and dismissive of people who might have legitimate critiques, but like, your critique is not legitimate in week 1 when they've announced 3 guests. That's ridiculous. And by the way, I have no skin in this game. I'm not booking talent, and I don't really know the people at Official Picks, so I don't have again, I don't, I think in general everyone should reserve all judgment till the end of the auto list, but at the same time, buy your autos early. Once they go on sale, some people will sell out, and based on this list, there are a couple who might. I don't know how many days every person has signed up for. It's possible that some people are there for all 4 days and some people are there for 1 or 2 days. And if they're only there 1 or 2 days, they might fill their day, but it might go like that. I mean, this is Carrie Jones's first celebration for sure, but one of the first appearances is being in Book of Boba Fett. I assume that he's going to have a big demand.
1 or 2 other cons/comic shops that he's been at so far.
Yeah. And I'm sure that he won't be permitted to do anything the month before, the month after. So there'll be a range of time where I think most contracts have that, where it's you can't attend a show within a certain time period, within a certain mileage.
Here it comes.
Oh, here we go. The thing we've been waiting for.
Do we know this, Joa?
Yeah, I'm wondering.
Though I will say we got 2 Wookiees.
What's going on? Yeah, 2 Wookiees. That's going to be interesting.
We have 2 Ewoks and 2 Wookiees.
Yes.
So far.
Look at how good the Darksaber looks.
When they go up the crash site and we see the heating of all of us were like, oh my God, what the hell is that? Oh my God, it's a Darksaber. What?
Yeah. I screamed. Yeah.
Directed by Taka Waititi, whatever his first name is.
Taika?
I think it's Taika, right?
Yeah,
I couldn't
Taika
it slipped my brain completely.
Oh, he has a new show that just came out. I think I'm a couple weeks behind, actually, called Our Flag Means Death. And it's this pirate thing, very silly, very fun. Apparently gets very gay too, which that was how it sort of crossed my Twitter. And he's weird and interesting. So I was like, okay, I could check this out. It's really good. The first 2 episodes, I was just cracking up. It's weird. It's super weird though.
Right, well, a lot of
I got this shot signed by Giancarlo of him staying on top of the TIE fighter with the. I had to have that.
That's very cool.
At Rhode Island, but I'm actually kind of worried about Taika doing a full-fledged movie as opposed to a 40-minute episode, because he's got a very specific niche when it comes to his. Look at Ragnarok, which is his movie.
But I enjoyed Ragnarok.
I like Ragnarok.
I love Ragnarok.
Do I think that fits a Star Wars movie? It would have to be a very specific.
That's what I'm worried about. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, if you gave him droids, that kind of thing, a rehash, remake, retooling, reboot of the Droids animated series.
You need to pick a weird character that doesn't connect to the Skywalkers, so that way you're not infecting or ruining anyone's childhood. You want to stay away from legacy stuff, because I think what he does is what we do in Shadows is so groundbreaking for comedy, and I would love to see his take on a property of this size where there are a lot of avenues where you can play. I do think he's a better fit for Marvel, because Marvel is even broader, and Star Wars is just always held to be so precious. It's the one thing I don't like about Star Wars. I like everything about Star Wars, but I hate the fact that it's so precious. Even Black Spire even Batu in the parks, right? It has to be in universe. There's a story happening here. It's during this time period, which is why, and Luke and Han are dead, so you can't see them there. I was like, could you have just built a fun Star Wars land that had no canon whatsoever, and I could have Yoda running around next to Darth Vader, with a Jedi temple and all sorts of stuff that doesn't make any kind of sense. Make it Star Wars Weekends come to life. It didn't need to be precious.
Or like Lucasland was supposed to be, Jeff, the original plans before we got Batu, when it was supposed to be Epcot, when there's the Death Star in the middle, and every city was supposed to be Hoth and Tatooine and Alderaan, different planets, instead of doing around the world, you're doing across the galaxy. That would have been absolutely cool.
That
But,
wasn't
anyway,
a
we-
Disney thing, right? Like some fan
It was
made
a
that.
fan made
Yeah.
thing for sure.
Yeah, it
But
was very
It's
it was
still
rudimentary.
pretty
very
awesome.
fun and
Awesome,
cool
though.
Yeah.
nonetheless.
So yeah,
But,
so we just finished an episode with Jar Jar. Yeah, he could do an episode with Jar Jar. Dave, would you be okay with Taka Waikiki did a movie with Jar Jar?
As long as we see Darth Jar Jar kick some ass, then that's
I do
what
know-
he needs to get.
I
That's
do
the
know
rub.
somebody who got a Dark Jar Jar picture signed in Chicago.
Hmm.
And he was very happy. He was very happy to sign that. But yeah, so we just finished up the first
Surprised he did.
live action appearance of the Darksaber, which if you are a Rebels fan, and you should be, and if you're not, you're missing some of the best Star Wars period easily. Then you're going nuts. And I mean, I know, like I said, a lot of people who are not animation fans or didn't want to watch it and didn't even discounted the animation as part of canon, and then saw the Darksaber and said, "Well, what the hell is that?" And I'm like, "Well, if you listen to me and went to go and watch the animation, you would know what that is." And especially since this is Dave Filoni, we're living in the Filoni verse, you should be knowing everything that Filoni touches, because he touches upon them at all. But yeah, great episode. Just the beginning of what we find out about the Darksaber. And I'm excited about, what's going on. I mean, there's not really much more we can really talk about, with this episode as far as Darksaber is concerned. But before we get into a couple of things, I want to plug once again that these fine Bunta Eve t-shirts are on sale until tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. Otherwise, you buy them. There'll be limited supply at the Bunta Eve Cantina. So if you're interested, go to Bunta Eve Cantina .square.site. That's Bunta Eve Cantina .square.site and order it today. Also, please make sure that you add shipping as a line item. Otherwise, I'll be emailing you and say I forgot shipping, which I had done.
And the
several
heather
times today.
looks amazing too. The heather.
Yes.
I don't think the screen quite does it justice, but the heather, your personal pictures.
The other one is a really nice one. The gray one, Heather, is nice too. Bryce, have a good one. So before we talk about some more stuff, it's become a cult classic within what we're doing. So let's go to the Rubies rollout. Mark, tell us what's going on.
So today, or actually yesterday, our third blog installment went up. That was really the big news for the week. We talk about our Shore Trooper helmet. So if you don't know who the Shore Troopers are, in Rogue One, they introduced another trooper, which seems to be a thing that happens in all Star Wars movies now. And this is like the sand-colored trooper, for lack of a better descriptor, that we find on the tropical planet Scarif at the end of the movie. I will say, without releasing too much info, it's our number 2 helmet on the site. Mando's number 1. It's our top seller. And then the Shore Trooper is right behind it, which I did not expect. People seem to love this Shore Trooper, which is why we decided to do a blog on it. And we talk a little bit about like the base color of the helmet and the weathering that's used and things like that. So go to denuonovo.com. We have a tab at the top called The Lore, which is the name of our blog. If you've missed the first 2 entries, we talk extensively about the Mandalorian helmet and the way we do that paint. And now this third chapter is about the Shore Trooper helmet, which is very exciting. And then a quick plug for next week. We do have some new items coming out that'll be late in the week, but you're going to want to check the Denuo Novo site late in the day on Monday. We have some big news that we can't talk about now, but keep an eye on denuonovo.com Monday afternoon. There'll be news. You'll see it. It's going to cross all the social media and all that stuff. And obviously I'll email you guys to announce it, but very excited about this one. A little tease for Monday.
Yeah, I'm loving the lore. It's really just kind of like a cosplay creator's dream, is just getting, and I mean, you're not giving away trade secrets, but just the little bits that you are.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the way to do that.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is Lucasfilm is approving every single one of these. So we write it, we share it with them. They say what we can and can't say to make sure we're not giving away any trade secrets or any licensing behind the scenes or anything. But like we know that most of the people who buy our products are in like the creator space. So even though they're usually making their own stuff, they're then buying things that are like high-end replicas, or they're interested in that space if they're not physically capable. Like I'm not physically capable of making a lot of this stuff, but I love reading from the design team of how this is done. And it's very cool to
Right.
read and learn about. So that's been really fun for me. I'm loving working in this category. It's wild. It's just wild is the best word to describe it.
Well, and it's such a good resource for those who are want an entire suit of armor. Is you don't make that, so you're sharing a little bit about, well, how did we weather this helmet? So if you're creating the rest of the suit, you can buy your helmet and then make the rest of the suit. Well, how do I do that?
Yep. And I would love to do a full suit for more of our items. We've got the first order stormtrooper coming. It's on the water now. Lord help me. We got to get it into everyone's hands in Q2. That's April, May, June. It's a limited time frame. And then I would love to do a clone trooper. I would love to do a shore trooper. Just all of them take so much time and energy, as you know.
Sure. Well, that's absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you very much for that. We greatly appreciate that. Also, just want to plug again the Bunta Eve Cantina, which will be the 25th, the night before celebration. This is going to be the kickoff event you're going to want to go to. We're going to have autograph signings. We're going to have our author's corner. We're going to have the second annual Alderaan Idol. So if you're interested in being part of Alderaan Idol, we are asking you to contribute a video for entry. You have until April the 12th, and we're going to do a live event on our page in the Skywalking Through Neverland page to show the videos and see who's going to be in round one for Alderaan Idol. There's going to be drink specials, food specials. The team behind the scenes are coming up with a lot of great things to make it that much more exciting for everybody. No, he is not going to be there. I still can't believe you have that made. You don't need a stuff to hold me. But it's just gonna be a fun event, and we want to see everybody there, as well as that guy can be there. He's cool. Also want to plug the Not So Virtual Cantina, which is going to be on the Tuesday before celebration. If you end up showing up early, we're just going to be sitting in the lobby bar of the Anaheim Hilton and just welcoming you all to the celebration. It's just going to be an easy night of us hanging out. We greatly appreciate everything that everybody does for our group, and we want to celebrate the best way we possibly can, which is what we do at Celebration. And, we try to keep the flavor of Celebration going all year round, in between cons, at different cons, but representing the Virtual Cantina brand. So we all thank you very much for what we do there. And you never know, you might end up in a new promotional video or package that our two gurus in here are going to be, putting together over the weekend. So we'll get some nice stuff there. Excited about that. Dave's like, wait, what are you talking about?
We'll be there. You're going to be on camera if you show up around us at Celebration. We're going to do our best to go live from the floor, and
So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're very excited to see everybody. We're excited to see people that we have not met. And I can honestly tell you, and both Jeff and Dave can attest to this, is that when we've gone, either when we went to Chicago for Rich's memorial, or on our family vacations that we went to literally a year ago, which I can't believe that. It felt like we knew each other. Like, it was not like, oh my God, we're meeting each other for the first time. So it's gonna be nice to actually see, oh my God, there's life beyond Zoom. There's life beyond Facebook. I know we all live on Facebook, but that's besides the point. But it's all going to be a very good thing. And we got a lot of good stuff coming for Star Wars. And I honestly feel that they're really going to try to do a bang up job with Celebration, especially considering it's been 3 years since the last one. And that, we lost one. So it's gonna be great. And it's gonna be great to see all of you guys, throughout the weekend, if you're going to be there or anything like that, make sure that you run to us. I'm sure our colors are going to be and our logo is going to be all around Celebration in one facet or another. So say hi to one of our members. We all love, chatting with you guys about everything that's going on. And we're always welcome to bring
Ooh.
more people in. And look at that nice little keychain swag of the Virtual
Look out
Cantina
for
Network.
swag.
I love swag.
Yes.
I love coming home with like bags of nonsense and then just
That-
throwing them into drawers.
We're gonna have some nice
Yeah.
swag at Bunta. So please make sure that you we would love to see you there, Mark, if you guys are able to make it over. Great, Krista, we're glad that you're gonna make it too. We've also had some really great new members joining us on Tuesday nights for happy hour as the group has been growing exponentially. More new members are coming in, and it's nice. I mean, I was away for work and I showed up for after hours this past week and met some new members that have been coming around lately when I've not been there, and it's been absolutely fantastic. I love seeing new faces and hearing everybody's Star Wars stories, and that we're all part of the same universe, and you feel that the world is could be a big scary place, but when it comes to Star Wars, we are a family, and that's what we try to tout here at the Virtual Cantina. Um, but no, I mean, all exciting things going on right now. Like we said, there's great Star Wars news. We got Kenobi going debuting with 2 episodes, 2 out of 6, the Friday of Celebration, which is going to be ridiculous. We got parties galore. We got more 10 new people signing at Celebration announced today. We got Troy getting the Oscar this past week. It was nice to when one of our Star Wars family members gets an Oscar nod in any sort of capacity, but especially Troy, who had such a prolific effect on the Mandalorian series, especially on a character like the Tusken Raiders, who had a bad rep after the OT. But no, all very exciting stuff. Melissa, we're excited you're going to be there too, and I'm so glad you got your shirt as well, your Boot Eve shirt. And I don't know, any other news from anybody that before we go into the next episode?
I think you've covered it. That's the deal.
Oh,
Hold on, yeah.
okay. So we're going to be looking at season 2, chapter 11, which is called The Heiress. This is a great episode because this is the episode I think Mark liked quite a bit, because this is when Sasha Banks shows up for the first time, and people have been waiting to see since the trailer of season 2 who Mercedes is going to be playing in this series. And there's some great scenes. You got introduced to the frog people, which are awesome, including friend of the family, Misty Rosas, who played Quill in season 1. Love Misty. Also, you got the return of Kay Sackhoff in this one, which went people went nuts. But very exciting stuff. So, Mark, why don't you lead us into this episode?
Yeah, I think you gave it a great intro already. The big reveal is that Bo-Katan is back and brings with her a night owl sister of some type in Mercedes Vernado. As you probably guys know her as Sasha Banks, but she's using her real life name, Mercedes. And their other partner, played by Simon, I'm blanking on his name at the moment. He is not a night owl, but he does wear the same color blue armor. The three of them arrive with Mando, and then they go on a little bit of a mini mission of sorts to infiltrate Gideon. And they take off their helmets, and that is the big, I think, focus of the episode is they take off their helmets, and so he's like, "You're not a Mandalorian," and so we're going to see the fight that happens between his version of what being Mandalorian means and what their version of being Mandalorian means. And interestingly, as we heard in the prior episode, Mandalore is a creed, not a race. Bo-Katan is actually the race Mandalore, like from the planet, and right. Din is a foundling. So, and yet they both each think like, they have completely different sets of rules and values and all that kind of stuff. So it's interesting to see that play out.
One of the things I don't exactly get is how he doesn't like automatically really know who she is.
Right. Like maybe he doesn't recognize her at first, but when she says her name, like he's got to know who she is. Right. I would think.
I mean, and if he doesn't know her specifically, the family name.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Kryze was like Satine was in charge of the whole planet. You would know your former presidents, going back several, right? Like I can go back, we can go, yeah. Uh, it is maybe it's a little bit of an in-universe plot hole that they just missed out on, or if he was really part of this like crazy sect and they didn't recognize any of them, and he knows everyone from House Vizsla, and that's it. And pre-Vizsla was really the ruler of Mandalore, and Satine Kryze was never legitimate in his eyes. There's a couple different ways we could talk, or we could do some mental acrobatics to get ourselves out of that, but it feels like a plot hole.
Right.
So it's Castanandes is Simon's last name. Ashley just put that in the chat, and his name is actually. And I wonder who named his last name. If that's not a Filoniism, I don't know what is. Because we know Filoni has a wolf fetish. He loves wolves. He knows that throughout Rebels.
X-Wolves. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
So
Trapper Wolf.
yeah, Trapper Wolf is his character.
Right. And
Which-
you've got the cat helmets that we were talking about, I think, on the last episode, is they're not supposed to be cats, I don't think. I think they're supposed to be like wolf helmets.
Yeah, that makes sense. The wolves were all over Rebels. We could do a whole thing on that too. Okay.
His dog is actually named Wolf too. His wife, I follow his wife on Instagram, and she talks about the dog all the time, which is pretty awesome. So anyway, we're gonna be watching once again season 2, chapter 11. So if you guys got that all queued up, we'll be ready to watch that episode. Very cute. All right, we're gonna be starting up again in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Now every time I see that, I want it to be a lightsaber.
Yes, that was exactly what I was thinking.
I had the same exact thought. Now that they did that, it's such a fantastic build to that logo.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Qui-Gon Jinn, and you're watching the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Exactly. You could totally.
So
do
I love
that.
the fact that they show the Mythosaur crest on top of there, because right after season 1, I went on to Regal Robot and bought that, and over the door in my office, I had my father-in-law help me. I have over my doorway the big Mandalore crest. So when you're leaving my office, you feel like you're going right into the covert.
That's
No.
very cool. I do like their crest. It's pretty cool looking.
To me, it was like, if you're gonna buy it, you can't just put it on the wall. It has to go over the door. I mean, that's where it's made for. That's what it should be. And if you're putting it anywhere else, that's a nice. Oh, that's a nice one. That's the bone one that they do.
Oh, that is nice.
The one from Batu.
Yeah.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, I don't have it on now. I was wearing the little the necklace he gave Grogu for a while there after this one.
Ruby's had a life-size Grogu statue, and it had the necklace with the little symbol, the metal looking, but it was made of resin, but really nice looking. I think there's also some fine jewelry, a different licensee that they would do with that. That would be a nice piece.
There's a lot of variations of that piece that I've seen and purchased.
Yes.
Let's see what this is.
Not wearing mine because I do not think it was made by an official licensee because it was hot metal and knee.
Right. I love how they're limping in the Razor crest.
Ugh, that ship has been through a lot, and we know what happens to it, but it reminds me of Firefly sometimes, where it's just like the thing is held together by bubble gum and a prayer.
But later, it's almost.
It's all ropes and pulleys and duct tape,
Squid.
Yep.
Oh, if they had introduced a character that was like essentially the Kaylee for the
It's Rock. Ashley said that's Rock Love that has the Mythosaur necklace.
I'm not familiar with their work, but I'll have to look them up. There are so many licensees we don't even know about each other. Like I know I showed up at Celebration And I was like, who the hell are these people? There's so many. Like it was actually San Diego Comic-Con one year because we were in the Lucasfilm Pavilion. You know, they
Right.
built that like
There was the
destination
big
section.
Star Wars section in the middle.
Right. So the way that licensees end up in there is like Lucasfilm buys that entire space. And then as a licensee, you can carve out your 10 by 10 space and you just work with them on Prime. You still have to get like all your design work approved by them, regardless if you're doing anything Star Wars. But being part of their booth, there's like structure to it and specific themes you need to roll into and get your product approved and all of that. But like I remember seeing people around that inner circle, like the other 15 or so licensees, and I didn't know half of them one year. I was like, oh my God, like they're in every category. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, literally every category.
Yeah, there's nothing untouched for sure at Disney. I don't when you know they always talk about like white space and like where are we going to grow in. I don't know if there's white space left. The only new stuff would be anything in like crypto and NFTs and something like that. And I think every licensee is trying to drive that into an NFT related to their own category. Like, you know, I don't know what new category are we building at this point. Oh my God, this crash landing.
This was a really like real world kind of thing. Is this would be like how the space shuttle would come in for a landing? Is you really got like actual life physics going on here.
It's very impressive. I do. That sweater really took off on Twitter. Do you guys remember when this episode?
Yeah, the
JC Penney sweater.
JC Penney. But my wife actually has a sweater like that. I kind of want to get a Emma Akbar mask just so I can wear that sweater.
There will be people cosplaying as that at Celebration.
The Phil Tippett scrap.
Stop motion.
Oh yeah.
Cleanse it with fire now.
I don't know. I want to go. If I was going to Celebration, I would dress as Blue Jeans guy and like stand behind like half of a wall, like half
green shirt,
as much as I possibly could.
I'm excited to see all the cosplay at Celebration.
Oh yeah,
it's always really fun.
I think it's gonna be very Mandalorian centric this year.
I think
it's
so.
Gonna be.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be some of these. I love the silly stuff, like when they run around with ice cream makers. Now we have like an in-universe answer to what the ice cream maker is. It's your bank. Like, it's very cool. I'm wondering why no licensee has made a home goods version of one, because I would have 10 of them around my apartment. Like,
exactly.
Yeah,
I've seen a couple of fan-made ones that look really cool and actually will open up at the press of a button and have lights and
it's very
things.
I gotta tell you, I think if and I don't know what licensee would have this, but even like a $40 version of like a piggy bank, like we just like put in your change, but it's opaque, so you can't really see what's in there. Like, that'd be super cool. Who's got that license? It's not us, by the way. It's not.
Regal Robot has a pen holder for your desk of one of those.
That's like a small one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want the bucket.
Yeah, like I wonder if they're going, besides the running of the hoods, if they're going to do the running of the banthas, having like people doing like a bantha. That'd be awesome.
I love the subtitles there when it said "Speaking Frog" again. Speaking Frog,
and all of the running of the banthas chased by Big Bird. Just
yes,
large yellow bird.
The banthas are real.
And every urge to say, you can't see me when she disappeared, Spencer.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Are you guys also into pro wrestling? A little bit. Yeah.
My profile picture may be a picture of me with Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh, that's cool. I am being a WWE licensee for years because I worked on that side of the portfolio also. We got to go to like WrestleMania and SummerSlam and NXT, and I got to see Sasha Banks and Bayley fight at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. And I was in the 4th row, and it was unbelievable.
Was it the Iron Man match?
No, this was the
Iron Man?
first one where Bailey beat Sasha for the title. So this was at NXT
Okay.
Takeover in
And
Brooklyn,
then,
right?
and the horsewomen came out. Yeah.
Yes. So they did their
Gotcha.
big thing at the end where all four of them were holding their arms up.
Yeah.
And because of like I was on the side that the cameras were shooting to, whenever they show that picture, you can see me because I'm wearing my yellow Bro Me t-shirt because I'm a huge fan of Zack Ryder and he was in the tag team, the Hype Bros at the time. And so they were fighting that night also in NXT, which Becky Lynch was in I had my Becky Lynch goggles. That's what dates it, right? And the Bro Me t-shirt. And I'm in the background because we're right there, me and my husband, like in the fourth row for Sasha and Bailey. Still one of my favorite match I've ever seen live. And we get to see some of her wrestling moves coming up a little later.
Here we go with the face.
Oh,
Jesus.
there you go.
Face hugger.
Gonna take down a xenomorph now.
Don't play with your food. Just
We
stab
got-
it.
We have the face hugger. Yep. So, what's your thoughts on the fact that Matt Cardona is now the NWA World Heavyweight Champion?
I'm into it. I think everything he's doing on the indie scene is spectacular. I like this little rivalry he's got going with Mike Kanellis. Or not Mike Kanellis now. That was before.
Yeah.
He's got a Mickey James thing. He hit hard with the Rough Rider like a week ago because he's gonna fight Nick and Chelsea's gonna fight Mickey.
Right. And he's yep.
Yeah.
You know, we're on the ocean.
I love this music.
Fishing vessel. Yeah, Ludwig really has niche with his music. It's very, he takes, themes of John Williams and makes it his own into his own kind of like feel. It's pretty cool.
And then makes it what this essentially is, a space western.
Mm-hmm.
The soundtrack is phenomenal just across the board.
Yeah.
How shiny his armor is.
Mm-hmm.
You must polish it every night.
Let the kids see it. That wasn't a clue.
Foreshadowing.
Just a tad.
Yeah, this giant beastie thing that we feed.
Why do you keep it in
The
a shit?
Kraken?
Yeah, there you go. Whoops. Hello.
No.
No.
He just gone.
Imagine it'd be hard to swim in that armor and all those capes and weird crap.
What are they thinking? The best scar is ours. You've got it in there, and that thing's gonna eat it. You're gonna wait till it poops out the best scar.
Yes.
Although he kind of got
Yeah,
what he deserved for going
Doesn't
in
he
the
gets
wrong
back
neighborhood.
up?
There we go.
Yeah, she
I think
takes no
those films
prisoners.
Have better like neck seals or something.
Drop kick.
Immediately
Yeah.
available from
Spinning
this.
flying kick.
Well, I also love that, like later on, you see what's called Cosca Reeves give Boba Fett tornado DDT.
Yeah, that was very cool.
I was like, that is awesome.
That is very reminiscent of him being taken in by a found when he was a kid.
I was just thinking that
same-
too. Yeah.
Yeah. I like to. They're just they're brave as hell. That guy just jumped in there to get the kid. Or
That
who
was
drove?
Sasha, wasn't it?
Sasha dove in, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't worry,
Shooting.
brother. Always a worker.
There it goes.
She was number 1 in the Rumble.
Yep.
Oh my god, look at how flattened that is. Oh,
Yeah. So I guess it's not that hard to swim in that because I mean, look, she popped out of there with the jetpack. Apparently, whatever fuel it like runs underwater. She's got like a little scuba deal.
Interesting.
Wait a minute.
Uh-oh. Now it's on.
Grogu's like, wait,
Why you be jacking fool's armor? What's up with that? You worn a helmet.
He's
you
one
know
of them.
Eric.
She's the last. Last.
Okay, so is Corky dead?
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. It's like, what?
Well, that kind of implies it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Unless he's disowned for some reason.
Oh, Corky. What a jerk. They just saved your life and your kid, and he's just going to fly away. I'd be like, tell me more. I feel like I recognize your last name for some reason.
Exactly.
something
familiar.
Chris.
I love that.
Oh, I love they just blew that thing up too.
That whole shot right there with the sunset and them taking off.
Very
the ship.
apocalypse now.
Pop up. Yeah, it is actually. The
So
color.
clearly, Bo-Katan and those other guys know what Death Watch is, and what they refer to them as religious zealots.
Yeah.
Right.
They were traitors at one point, and now they're like lunatics. So I wonder how they manage these people elsewhere.
Don't know. I mean, maybe they're not on I don't know. Does anybody on Mandalore anymore? We hear the armorer talk in Book of Boba Fett about, caves and whatever, and presumably we'll see Mandalore in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume so. It would be nice if they actually go back there and we get to see it in live action.
Oh, that would be a trip. Yeah.
Well, especially if they're now starting to look for the water underneath the mines.
Yeah, and we get to see a live action mythosaur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that, or you get to purify yourself in Lake Guanatiki, just like in Purple Rain.
They have no problem. Just like, we don't negotiate, we don't discuss. Bam, 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 you're dead.
Well, I thought it was funny that Bo and Sasha are using the little rope things and just knocking them down, but then Axe Woves just blows them away.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, they knocked him down.
Yep. Planet is cursed.
So she's alluding to that you can go to Mandalore, and he's been told all the time that, oh, no, burn to the ground. Empire made it unlivable.
It's cursed.
Bo-Katan has firsthand experience with Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys all think it was Ahsoka? Because that's immediately who I thought.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I don't think there would be any. It wouldn't be Luke. She's only ever really hung out with Obi-Wan and Ahsoka. Obi-Wan's dead at this point.
Yeah. Well, and she's not going to Anakin, who's also dead at this point.
Yeah, Vader's dead too. Yep. Hardly anyone left. I have so many questions. I know I brought this up already, but like Simon's character, I just have Axe Woves. I just have so many questions. And I know we shouldn't make the immediate jump. Is he romantically connected to either of these two ladies? But like, he's wearing matching armor, but he's not a night owl. So what clan is he a part of? What group is this? Like, how is he connected to them? Obviously, he's not in charge. Bo-Katan's in charge, but they seem egalitarian as a trio. They're all like helping each other out. But is he Sasha Banks's boyfriend? Like, I want answers. So
yeah. And we get more frogs.
Look, let's just leave this person with the nice frog lady that we nearly killed getting here.
This poor woman. She's been through so much. Could you imagine?
Now she has to deal with the kid.
who was eating her eggs in the prior
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah. And wants to eat more of them.
Yeah.
Yep. Like,
It's so ridiculous.
But then has a realization.
Yeah. I do love the little bits of like we'll use the word humanity of like Din and everyone else. They really care about people's individual needs. Like that frog lady, her whole thing was about preserving her species, which is the
Right.
same struggle that Mando's going through, which is the same struggle with Grogu. Grogu's one of the only kind. The Jedi are nearly extinct. Like everyone's on the brink in this show in every single way, and they're all then. But if you can all band together and find the common humanity and help each other out, everyone has a fighting chance at that point. That was very sincere, and that's not where I was intending to go.
but and he's one like pirates, and it's like, do stormtroopers not know what Mandalorians are?
I love
Maybe at
that.
this
The
point. Oh,
stormtrooper bug splat on the
Yeah, off the
windshield.
windshield.
They just said.
Yeah, and Lila's going, the talk back then was it all leading to Ahsoka, and that's who it was. But wasn't there talk at this point? I think it was this episode that there was somebody they showed in a preview or something just kind of hiding around on boxes in the
Yeah, that was Sasha's.
Yeah, that was that shot of her when they first get to the port.
It's Costco Reeves because she was in the hood.
Okay, because
yeah, I remember everyone thinking she might be
the
a
talk at
Jedi.
that point I remember was that maybe that was Sabine.
Yeah, that's what the rumor was.
The rumor that she was going to be Sabine. They were
Yeah.
talking that for a while that she was going to be potentially Sabine.
I forgot about that. You're right. Because there were two thoughts. It was like, is she Sabine or is she a Jedi? No one thought she was going to be Bo-Katan's right-hand man, right? Like that was
Right.
never part of the conversation. Because she's not in Mandalorian gear there. She's just wearing that black cloak.
Right.
Right.
Meanwhile,
Very
these three came in
ambiguous.
and just like tear stuff up. You want stuff done. Oh man. Like just get these three. Like there's no need. They've
Yep.
been very effective so far at all of their killings.
Yep.
Oh,
They're
there you go. So
efficient.
that is Mandalorian.
By the way, we're working on Imperial officer uniforms. For anyone
Ooh.
asking, we Novos used to
Got
have them.
pieces, don't you? There's hats and there's buckles.
We have hats, belts, and belt buckles, but we're working now on the actual tunic and the pants, which Novos had, and we have those original patterns, and they come in black, and they come in this like sort of olive gray situation, this like weird green. So we're working on those now. We were trying to get them the pre-order up before celebration. Just everything takes forever. But as I see them on screen, I was like, oh, I really want the black one. I know that's the junior level officer, but I don't care. It's a cool. It's better looking than the green. I hate that green. I hate it so much. It's such a weird color.
I love the fact that when you're looking through the helmets, they got almost like the Predator infrared
Yes.
like imagery.
Low res.
Also, they're not seeing the people. Like anyone,
Right.
that could be anyone. They're not seeing like
Yeah.
who you are. They're just seeing it's a warm body and now it's a dead body.
Yeah.
Like it could
Right.
be an ally of theirs that's just hovering in that general area. Now it's not. We know for a fact that there's only stormtroopers on here, but in a different battle scenario, like that wouldn't be super effective. This is just for
Right.
pure killing.
Hey, there's hexagons.
Mhm. Not that bad. Pew 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 pew. Close the doors.
All the doors.
Close the blast
Hide
door.
behind this
Close the blast
console
door.
over here. No. Open the blast doors. Open the blast door.
Can't see me here.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, good. They'll never get through that.
Ah,
Just kidding.
we're safe now. We have them trapped.
Wait a minute.
Whoops.
Nope.
Oh,
Much for that.
Fooled you.
Yes. I love that. When I first saw this episode, Shoot him out the back door. Hmm. They're in the right place. They got all the goodies.
Isn't that guy from Game of Thrones?
He's been in a lot of stuff.
It's like,
Didn't he
oh,
play
what?
Bosch or something like that?
Oh yeah, she wasn't exactly upfront with him about what she was really doing.
Yeah.
But he should also just calm down. Din sort of flies off the handle sometimes. And like they've been nothing but effective so far. So roll
Right.
with it.
Yeah.
Good night, Notman.
Good night, sir.
I'm not was out of here.
Pray
You
that
altered
Everyone
the
also
deal.
again.
further.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm biased, but I like the three of them better than I like him, truly.
Well,
Like
he
I
is
would
so uptight, like you say. He's just got that weird vibe going, and they're kind of more like open and free and doing their thing, and sort of not so uppity.
it's not removing the helmet thing, it's blinding him to like so many things. But even though he took his helmet off at the end of season 1 to get healed by IG-11, but he was a droid, so it didn't really break the rules.
Right.
But we'll see throughout season 2, he has to take off his helmet a couple times. He has to access the
Right.
computer system, and you just need a facial recognition. And then when he says goodbye to Grogu in front of Luke, so like
Mhm.
I like the character progression, because by
Right.
the end of season 2, I like Din better than I like Poe. So
Right.
that switches. Meanwhile, this was brutal. I love this. Like he's
Oh,
like
Right.
you're just gonna take it down.
everyone's disposable. He's like, all right, I'm just gonna kill these junior level officers. I'm gonna crash this plane.
Oh yeah.
Also, she gave away the plan. She shouldn't have said anything.
I thought this ship was just a weird design for the Empire. It's just a
Yeah, it's got a
really
different look.
big kind of break from what we've seen before.
Cluster
like,
of warm bodies.
Thermal detonators always work.
And I'm like, why don't they do that?
Yeah,
If the
couldn't they?
army can take it, and they've got
Whoops.
Oh,
Hmm.
So he took some serious hits there, but he was taking some serious hits, like if you remember in Book of Boba Fett as well. In
Oh,
the
yeah.
last episode.
I mean, do they just not have as much faith in their armor? Have they not had it tested to that point?
If it's not shiny, it's not fully Beskar. Who knows?
But Bo-Katan doesn't have fully Beskar, an armor that's been in her family for generations.
yeah.
I think it's Durasteel. I don't know. They got there just in time.
And this is such this is almost like the cyanide tablets,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, from like the
Same
Gestapo.
exact
Yeah.
idea.
Very well done.
Okay, when she name drops this, it's awesome.
She had to take her helmet off to say it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
and the whole place went nuts. Okay, I didn't like the fact that she said this is the way. I thought that I took that as her being very conniving and was being a little bit of a smartass because that's not really.
Condescending.
She doesn't follow the way.
But see, I didn't read it that way. At least not when I saw it. I just read it as there's a commonality in all the sex of the Mandalores. You know?
Yeah, is it like aloha?
Eat it.
Okay.
Which has meaning. It's not just hi and hello, right? Like it is
Yeah.
special.
Right.
So, oh my God, this is great. I do love. By the way, I love me some Frog Lady. So big ups to Misty.
Oh yeah.
And D. Bradley Baker.
Yes,
the
and
voice.
D. D's, by the way, D's everywhere and D's everything. He's tremendous.
He's
I'm
the
so
Bad
happy to,
Batch.
Odd sense.
Yeah, I just love him so much.
Peacemaker.
Yep. Oh, that I need to get an eagerly picture signed from Peacemaker.
You can only get it signed if you go up to him and you do the Peacemaker dance.
I'm learning it.
Okay.
You see, I'm waiting for John Cena to show him his Peacemaker at a WWE show, and I want to hear, do you want to taste it going over the Titantron? That would be absolutely fantastic. I was hoping for that during the Royal Rumble. That would have been incredible.
He's having such a high in Hollywood at the moment. I don't know when he's coming back for like a WWE, big thing, but WrestleMania would make sense. Like co-promote the stuff you're working on. Like everyone gets a slice.
He's actually executive producing and narrating their show called Evil, which is on Peacock right now.
Yeah,
it's to talk about heel turns. Great episode about Stephanie McMahon, worth watching, and Ric Flair too.
In pre-production for the next Ernest Goes to Camp reboot.
Yes.
No.
That's the freakiest looking.
I kid people. Don't.
Well, he does look like he does look like Ernest.
It's like, oh look, lunch.
this ship.
Like not quite sure. Oh no.
Frank hated those eyes.
Yeah, multi-shot. Squish it.
Squeesh, squeesh.
Oh my God,
That ship looks very different.
There it goes. Sort of.
It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Mm.
There it is. That's the title of the
Take that
show.
thing into space.
Yeah, how are any of you alive? I have so many questions.
You see,
Oh God, I lost a piece.
Yeah, I never noticed that before. That's awesome.
I don't think I noticed that either. Oh, that was a Bryce episode.
Yeah.
Let's hear it for Bryce.
One of the best
Dallas
ones
Howard.
are hers.
She's so good. Yeah, I
Right,
remember when they first announced her and people were like, "Oh, this is nepotism at work," right? And I was like, She's been in the business for so long. She would not be moving into the space if she did not know her craft. She acts in the stuff she wants to do, and obviously she has carved out a space for herself doing TV directing. Like she's tremendous.
And after what she did in Boba Fett, people are saying give her a movie already.
Yeah, I would watch a movie with her, please. I think that'd be great.
Absolutely, I think she'd be great. So that's where we're at right now. We in the storyline, Bo-Katan is searching for Moff Gideon, and that's where we are in the lore. Is that she wants the throne back?
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, Mark?
Yeah, if anyone can make the most legitimate claim to the Darksaber, it's her or Sabine. Those would be the two. Obviously it was taken. She lost it somehow. We still don't know exactly how. I don't think it was in a proper duel with Gideon.
Somehow.
And Gideon has it, is all we know. So my thought is I'm on board for her mission. Her tactics are not always above board and not always the best, right? Like she started as kind of a villain and will always have that running through her bloodline. She chooses violence. I very much aligned with her and her team though in this episode. And I love the little team she put together. I think that Axe Woves and Koska Reeves are excellent characters. I want to see more of them. I like this trio. I want to learn more about what the Night Owls are up to do and like what their ancillary associates are doing. And I like her thought where it's like they've wanted to split us up in the different groups of Mandalorians, but we're stronger when we're together. Like I like the idea of all the Mandalorians coming together, and maybe that includes bloodline Mandalorians, the various houses, the various clans, I guess is what they're called,
Yeah.
and then the foundlings, and maybe even the Death Watch people. And maybe it will take Bo-Katan and the Armorer fighting and then teaming up, which is also my thought of like Ahsoka and Barriss Offee, right? That's the script that I'm writing. So I want to see those things happen, and I'm here for it. And this really, and rewatching this actually makes me more excited for season 3 of Mando, more so than Boba Fett did for me. Like, I think Mando season 3 is going to be spectacular.
Well, they already, I mean, Carl Weathers did say there's going to be a battle of like 75 Mandalorians. Like he might be exaggerating, but we know there's going to be a lot, coming together, which is actually pretty cool. Dave, what's your thoughts on, where we're at?
Well, I mean, going from the episode that we watched before to this, it's just an emotional roller coaster. I mean, you see all of the things that were in the last episode, and this one, it's got some big reveals, but it's more of just, it's a kick-ass episode. It's it's not as emotional, and you get backstory stuff, but it keeps right on getting it. It's not like, oh, the night of the 1,000 tears or the purge, the flashback, and this, and you're sad, and you're this. It's like, oh, these are the people, and they're going to kick somebody's ass, and they're going to do a thing, and they're going to get a move. So, I like the fact that Mandalorian mixes up those kind of episodes. It's not all one thing all the time.
Right. Jeff.
Yeah, they definitely change up the tempo sometimes. It's what like this episode, it was basically sort of action after action after action with a little bit of a slowdown in the middle, which still had tons of action in it. Like when they were on the boat, it got a little slow, but then all of a sudden it picked up again. But I like what Mark had said. I really liked how Bo-Katan's group kind of worked together, and I have this very kind of, determined kind of specific strategic thing going on where they get everything done very kind of mechanically.
Yeah,
it's a good group.
But anyway,
episodes.
Yeah, looking forward to next episodes. Just a couple quick updates is that this Sunday, be prepared for a new episode of the Jedi Archives, where they'll be talking more about the High Republic. Also, keep an eye out. Don't forget, tomorrow is the last day you can order Boot to Eve merchandise before Celebration. So if you're interested in getting your items before Celebration, I know a lot of our members have received their T-shirts in the last couple of days. So orders are shipping on the regular now. So if you're interested in ordering before Celebration, get them now. Otherwise, we're going to limited amounts at Boot to Eve available. And also, just keep track of what's going on our site. Obviously, we have a lot of postings. I've been very busy, and I've been scheduling the day before a day, like 10 posts to go at certain times, just because I know there's so much that needs to go out now, and I don't want to be messing up my day. So keep a look there, and hope to see you all at all of our events. Our events are the places to be before Celebration. And it'd be nice to catch up and meet up with all you guys. Before we head out tonight, Mark, anything?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to next week, both on a De Nuevo Novo front, where we're going to have some big reveals. Remember, tune in Monday late in the day. We'll have something that I can't talk about now. And then I'm very excited about our final episode next week. I'm sad that it's ended. You know what it is, like, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened, or whatever that thing is. This has been really fun, and I'm looking forward to the finale of all of this. And I know there's some announcements coming next week too, so it's gonna be a great show.
Yep, very, very excited about that. Dave, anything coming up on the network we should be waiting for? Or
as always, do not forget to check us out on the Virtual Cantina Network. Check us out over there. This show in its entirety will be there very shortly after the conclusion. And check us out on Instagram and Twitter as well. Big moves going on the Instagram, as I love getting the different alerts that we get. Like today, when today's news dropped, I think some of the retweets and stuff on Twitter dropped first before we saw it on Facebook. And so, you got to join multiple platforms and check us out and see, so you can get your news as fast as humanly possible.
And plus, also, I do want to point out, which I thought was pretty awesome, is that we actually got our first re-Insta from Rancho Obi-Wan, which is pretty awesome. I thought that was pretty cool that they re-insted us. So great job. We're growing exponentially. We're almost at 300 members there. Also, if you have not subscribed to the VCN, do so. We're about 75 people before we're probably going to be able to go live on YouTube during Celebration. So please, please, please make up some false accounts if you need to. I know I have like 5 accounts from work, and I subscribed every single one of them this past week onto this. So also, if you subscribe, ring that bell, subscribe, get your push notifications when we're live on YouTube. You'll find out first from there, but find out there's incredible prizes. The person who won the last one, Bruce Brown, who's a great guy, he should be receiving his gifts shortly, and hopefully do an opening for there. But when we get to 1,000 people, 1,000 subscribers, which we're not far off of.
No, we're at 935 right now, as of now.
Excellent. So let's get some more. Let's get 65 more before the 25th of May, and then we'll go live on YouTube during Boot to Eve. That's the plan. Jeff, anything else?
Let's look forward to some more Mandalorian next week, and continuing on with this interesting sort of chase, as it were, the path of the Darksaber.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun, and thank you very much for coming on this journey with us. We're very excited. Also, want to plug the fact that once we finish the path of the Darksaber, we are going to go into finding Kenobi, being joined by our good friend and fellow admin Frank Rich, who is a die-hard Kenobi fan, as we get ready for the premiere. And if they don't start that show with "Hello there," it's a missed opportunity. They've already blew that spot before at D23 when they introduced you, and Kathleen Kennedy should have just said, "And this guy." And if you heard "Hello there" off camera, and then he walked up, the crowd would have gone banana. But missed opportunity. Anywho, we're very excited about next week. We're excited about everything that's coming up. We're excited about seeing you all in less than 2 months in Anaheim. So from Mark, from Dave, from Hefe, I'm Spencer. We'll see you next week, and this is the way.
May the force be with you.